Tony here from Lightwave Digital. Today what we're going to be doing is looking at Chronosculpt and how we can use the pin tool to change some of the dynamics in a simulation from Lightwave. So I've got this basic scene. If I just play it through, it is only like 4 seconds and it only contains 3 items. So it's basically got the ground plane, it's got a giant ball bearing, and it's got like a cottage. And if we bring up under the effects tool the actual item properties, you can see the ground's a static object, the ball is a rigid object, and the house, because it's broke up into lots of parts, is in parts. So when I did the house, I got this cottage from Turbo Squid. It's just one light model or one object with one UV. But what I did is I cut and pasted the polygons that make up the windows, the doors, and the roof into separate layers. I fractured them all separately, then cut and pasted them back into the same layer, and then brought them through. And obviously, I've also got under the actual house, under activation, stop sleeping, which basically means it won't do anything until the ball hits it. So, as you can see with the dynamic, it comes through and it knocks the house down. And I'm happy with that. It could be more detailed if I wanted to break the house up more or add more stuff. But let's say once you've done this, a client comes in and says, yeah, he really likes it as well. However, he just wished that maybe this part of the house stayed up. So you think, all right, so I've got to figure that out. But the best way to do it is literally save the MDD files out, so the vertex cache files for the actual cottage and the ball, and take them into Chronosculpt, and then we'll use the pin tool. So to do that, what we're going to do is make sure when you're doing this, you're on the model you want to capture the vertex cache for. And then under the properties at the bottom here, look, under add modifier, go to MD Baker, you will double click it. You need to choose where the actual file is going to be saved, this little arrow here, and make sure you've got a vertex file. So I've got a folder for Lightwave Cottage, and here's my vertex file where I'm going to save it, and I'm going to call it let's call it Cottage 1. Okay, I don't need to change anything because I only want to capture all the frames 0 to 120. So press OK, and you'll notice that the timeline player will jump, which means it's captured it. So what we can do then is we can shut that down for the time being, and then we go to add modifier, and then we're going to add the reader. So this will read the new file. So we're not going to add it for the time being though, because I want to do the same to the ball. So we'll click on the ball, and making sure you're on the ball, we're going to go to add modifier, Baker again, double click, make sure it's going to the right place, and we'll call it ball 1, so it's easy, like so. Press OK. Timeline head will jump to the end, so we've got it, so we can turn that off. So now we've captured both those files, let's turn off and disable the dynamics. So there isn't no dynamics, just the ball movement. So what we'll do is, we're currently on the ball, so let's go add modifier, and this time we're going to use the MD reader. Double click it, click the file name, and let's choose the ball we've just done. Continue. Now let's choose the cottage and do exactly the same. MD reader, file, cottage. Okay. So now when we drag it along, we've captured the dynamics for the ball and the cottage. But now what we need to do is figure out how we're going to quickly pin the side of this house. So what we'll do is we'll jump into Chronosculpt, and then what you have to do is you have to drag and drop the object file for the scene, which is mine's just called cottage. When it jumps in, if we press A, it'll center it. And like I said, we've just got the cottage, the ball, and the land. So what we need to do is now drag and drop the vertex cache for the cottage and the ball onto their items. So in the tool section here, select object, click on the actual cottage, go into your vertex folder, grab the cottage and drag and drop it on like so, and then you'll see it here. And then you just do the same with the ball. Select the object, drag and drop the ball, MDD, onto it, and then the ball's there as well. So while we're on the cottage, what we want to do is we want to pin the side of this building. Okay, so what we'll do is we go over to the sculpting tools, and down you'll come to pin. And what you've got is the size, the strength, the hardness, and soft pin. So what we're going to do is pin the points and areas we want it to stay upright. So if you right mouse click, you can define the area of influence. And what we'll do is we'll just click and we'll drag over this area here that we want to stay upright. Let's see what that does. So the ball comes in and it's smashing down, and then the area we want is staying upright like that. Now it's okay, only thing is I'm pretty sure that something that size hitting it, even if this side of the building stayed up, the glass would break. So let's zoom in here, and then we're going to right mouse click to make the area smaller, and then I'm going to hold shift to deselect some parts of the area. So let's say this, maybe this, and also let's do a bit of the roof here like that. So yeah, let's say that. So smashes in, and those little bits, and I've caught side of that as well has fallen. However, I quite like that, how it's fell in like so. And again, if you wanted to, you could come over to the other side, do the other side. And let's say I'm smashing it along. There's a really big bit here that I want to pin. So if you want to do another area, come down to your playhead here and click on the main timeline for the cottage, and then deselect the pin. So we're basically saying, right, we want to do another bit now. So let's just say there, I want it to be hanging off the edge. So we'll just go to pin, and we'll pin it in that area. So we've got another part here. And basically, if you wanted to get to the other dynamic pins, you just click on the little dots for it. So now if you look out, we've got that falling and staying there, and everything else falling down. And if you don't want it, when you're on the actual area, you can just come to file, go to edit and delete it, and it'll go back to its original state like so. But anyway, I'm happy with this. I quite like how that bit's staying upright, and I like how this bit of the window's falling in. So making sure the cottage is selected, because I haven't changed anything to the ball, I don't need to export anything here. But for the actual cottage, we just go to file, export MDD. We're gonna save as version 2 in the same folder. We'll jump back into layout, go make sure you're on the cottage like so. We'll double click the reader, and then we'll go to file name, and we'll place it with 2, and you'll see straight away. If we just drag it along, those changes have updated and they're there, and it's as easy as that, and it's really cool, it's really quick. Hope you enjoyed the tutorial. Thanks for listening.